Hi, these are my thoughts on Louis Theroux's Scientology movie. Just before I start, for some context, I saw this film in the cinema 2 weeks ago approximately now, and I just wanted to give my feelings on it as I don't think it's really going to get that much coverage otherwise, what with it not being a summer blockbuster and not focusing on a particularly, I guess you'd say, mainstream subject. So, first of all, what is it? Well, it's a satirical documentary movie, primarily set in and around Los Angeles, focusing on the supposed religion of Scientology, how it functions, some of the controversies surrounding it, and interviews with a number of those who've now left the quotations mark religion. So who's actually in it? Well, the main actor, as you may well have guessed, is Mr. Louis Theroux himself. Louis is well known, certainly in the UK, and potentially well beyond, through BBC Worldwide's network as a journalist who's conducted a series of documentaries such as Louis' Wild Weekends, The Most Hated Family in America, and the When Louis Met series, among a number of others. He's tackled some very difficult subjects, including ADHD, meth addiction, autism, gambling, pornography, and a number of others. In fact, I'd say controversy and difficult subject matter is something he's gained quite a reputation for, and certainly something he's quite well equipped to tackle with his manner and the general process he has. Louis is the main star, along with his production and filming team, who feature in parts here and there, as well as a ragtag of certain actors he collects along the way, and a number of ex-Scientologists themselves. So, how long is it? Well, the movie falls just under 2 hours, at about 99 minutes. Does it feel long, I suppose, is the more relevant question. Well, it certainly keeps the viewer's attention, although it does seem and feel slightly wayward towards the last few scenes in terms of direction. Having said that, it is a lot of fun, and Louis' sense of awkward humour, along with the very on-point direction, certainly helps the sense of humour and ridiculousness of the whole situation come through. So who is this actually for? The film, of course. I suppose the type of people that were most attracted to both the proposition of the film and the content itself are those that very much like satirical humour, documentaries, and particularly those facing awkward subject matters that, of course, Louis is now well known for. Now, again, for reference, I'm a big fan of Louis, and I certainly enjoy the way he likes to tackle things, and I think he does a good job of bringing through both the human element and the lighter side of things. So what's it really similar to? Well, it's certainly there's certainly a vein of similarity to some of Louis' previous work, and particularly some of the lighter stuff. So I mentioned before he's tackled pornography. There's a very good one where he tackles not literally the subject of swingers, and he does a very good job, as I've said, of really looking at the ridiculousness of the situation and really what is it and how is it working and why people are doing this. And the way he does this is that he's very direct. However, Louis is also he's quite disarming. He despite being quite a big chap, he's very he's almost innocent in the way he comes across, and that allows him to comment on things and be quite direct in his questioning, without getting too close to the subject matter. And I think that really helps here. I mean, without giving too much away, there's a particular scene where he's interviewing and questioning one of the former quite senior Scientology members, and he's able to ask the guy quite direct questions most of the time without getting in too much trouble, and although it's hit and miss, I think it definitely helps to the nature of the film. Highlights. Well, there's a particular scene, actually, it's quite short, in which they're in a room discussing, a hotel room, I believe, discussing how this film they're putting together is going to work and what that's going to look like. there's a very brief moment with a lady who walks past, and it is featured in the trailer, so as I say, I'm not ruining anything, but it really highlights the ridiculousness of the situation. And I think, on a side note, some of the vanity that gets thrown at Los Angeles, which certainly in this case seems to be true as a stereotype. Secondly, this is also featured within the trailer, so again, hopefully I'm not ruining anything. But there's another scene with Louis and an accomplice of his, shall we say, in which they go to one of the Scientologist facilities themselves for closer inspection. Now, this results in a bit of a confrontation, and it's really great because he really manages to put across the ridiculousness of both the situation itself and the film as a whole in terms of its subject matter. Now, thirdly, this isn't featured within the trailer, so I will try and be as vague as possible, but there are a number of interviews which take place throughout the film, and this focuses more on the darker side of things. What is it? What is Scientology? What are the things that are happening here that people don't like to talk about? And what's the outcome of all of this? Now, as I say, Louis' interview approach definitely helps here. Certainly in terms of what he can get some of these guys to talk about, but also in what they don't talk about, and I think that gives you a greater sense, even although it's not too clear, of what they're not telling you, which in some cases is quite concerning. So overall, I think the film is a lot of fun, that's for sure. And as I say, the humour featured within is really great, and the way the film's cut, and it feels very quick at times. It certainly helps to that. It's worth pointing out that the film does a good job of explaining what Scientology is. It's not just a jab at it or a quick joyride. It also talks about some of the components and the elements, what it is, how it works, why people follow it, and obviously what the outcome of that is. In terms of the characters, obviously these are real people, so it's difficult to really say what their agendas are and if they're balanced, I suppose. But I don't feel as though the film portrays them to be biased or really that nothing appears too forced. Now, of course, that is difficult because it's a very loaded subject matter. Again, I think this is handled quite well. Having said that, there are certain points which are obviously quite tongue-in-cheek, and I don't think you can really blame them too much. So what's not so great? Well, it does end quite suddenly. Of course, it is a documentary, so you would expect this to some extent. But I have to say, I did feel quite disappointed the way things finished off. To me, there wasn't any real sense of I suppose, anything moving forward or any real impact of what we'd seen. So, it's always a tricky one with any documentary. We're never going to have the answers, but it was a little bit disappointing, I have to say. So there you go. Those are my thoughts. Hopefully that would give people who are potentially looking at the film or know of Louis' other work and are interested in checking out some greater insights. I really just wanted to give my side of things here. Obviously everybody has an opinion, and if you would like to let me know yours, then feel free to leave a comment. Please do also leave a like, as it would be great to understand if people how people feel about this. And thank you very much for your time.